Hello again, this is Daniel Clark back here with another video, another review. And this last time I did a review on the 1988 Great American Bash, and I told you next time would be the 89, and it was a great show. Believe me, this 1989 Great American Bash is a great show. On the level of some of the greatest pay-per-views of all time in SummerSlam 2002 and WrestleMania 17 and Survivor Series 02. It's up there. It really is. A lot of old school fans will say this is the greatest WCW pay-per-view there is, and it really is. It's on the level. You have some of the greatest matches here at the Great American Bash, at this Great American Bash. You had Sting versus the Great Muta for the television title. Ric Flair versus Terry Funk for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Wargames, of course. Luger versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the United States title. And you had a funny-ass Tuxedo match going on this show. This is an amazing show. The tagline here is Glory Days. And believe me, you had Sting in his glory days. Muta in his glory days. Luger, Steamboat, Flair, Funk, all in their glory days. From Baltimore, Maryland, this is the 1989 Great American Bash. We start out the show with a 2-ring double elimination King of the Hill Battle Royale. The way this goes down is instead of being just one ring, there's 2 rings. Yeah, back in WCW they would have a lot of 2 rings. War Games, and they had some 2-ring battle royales. In World War III, of course. You would have to get eliminated twice. So if you got eliminated and got thrown over the top rope, you still had a chance of winning. You just go to the second ring. So you would start out in one ring, and if you got thrown over the top rope, you go to the second ring, and then you continue the match there. Once when the winner of the first ring is declared, he will battle out with the guy who won in the second ring. So there's a lot of guys in here. Rick Steiner, Sid Vicious, Brian Pillman, a couple other guys were in this. Came down between Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey. These two are tag team partners of the Skyscrapers, managed by Theodore Long, believe it or not. And Theodore Long didn't want them to fight, so they decided to split the money. So the Skyscrapers win this elimination battle royale match. It's a good one. It's okay, not really. I don't know how I would call it, actually. It was kind of decent. I give it only a 4 out of 10, though. There's some other great elimination battle royales. This is not one of them. Not really remembered. But anyways, next on we have Brian Pillman versus Bill Irvin. Bill Irvin is from WCCW fame. If you don't know, just watch a few WCCW, you'll find him. This is one of the very first shows from Brian Pillman, I believe, that he came in from. And let me tell you this, Brian Pillman, when he was Flying Pillman, Flying Brian, he was amazing. And when he was a loose cannon, he was amazing on the microphone. Brian Pillman, wasn't for injuries, he would have been guaranteed one of the greatest of all time. He had a lot of demons, he had a lot of injuries, and that's what, led to him not being one of the greatest. But this was a good match, a good undercard match. It all starts with a giant cross body from Brian Pillman's. Very good match, actually. 6 out of 10. Good show from Pillman. Good show from Irvin. Next up, we have the Skyscrapers, Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious taking on the Dynamic Dudes. The Dynamic Dudes is one of those stupid blunder tag teams. It was Shane Douglas and John Laurinaitis. Yes, here they are wearing stupid rad 90s clothes, like, or 89 clothes or whatever, and they're coming out with skateboards. Yeah, that was the whole gimmick. They would wear the stupidest 80s clothes, and they would ride on skateboards to their entrance. really ridiculous. This match was terrible. This match was crap. There's one match to skip. It's this match. I only give a 3 out of 10. A lot of botches. This match went way too long. It was like 10 minutes. It was just bad. Really bad match. 3 out of 10. Skyscrapers win it. Who cares? Next up, we have the Tuxedo match between Paulie Dangerously and Jim Cornette. This is one of those matches that is very fucking funny to watch. You know, it's not very good wrestling. It's not supposed to be, you know, technical. It's a tuxedo match. And what a tuxedo match is, it's basically the male version of a bra and panties match, kind of. Where the object is to strip your opponent from their tuxedo down to their underwear. That's the whole point. It's just really fucking funny to watch. Jim Cornette wins this and strips down Paul Heyman, or Paul Dangerously. It's just some of the funniest thing ever. Powder gets thrown in here, the phone. I really hope this match is on Paul Heyman's DVD when it comes out. It's just a funny match. I'm not gonna give it any points. I'm gonna get like a +5 extra points here. I'm not, you know, ranking it. I'm just giving it extra points for being spectacular, for being funny, for being what it really was. And that's what it was. It was funny. Very good stuff. Then we got the Steiners versus the Varsity Club. Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner taking on Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotunda. It's a good match. It's only about 4.5 minutes long. It's a Texas tornado match, I believe, which means there's no rules, none of that. It's a brawl, it's a fight, it's a good match. Only 4.5 minutes. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Good stuff here. Wish it was a little longer. Next up, we have the TV Championship match between Sting and the Great Muta. This match is fast-paced. It's reverse fest. It is amazing. They call this whole show Glory Days. Sting was, you know, Sting may not have been as popular as he would become in the late 90s, but I believe Sting, at this gimmick he had, was at his best in ring days. Great Muta from Japan fame is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. The one problem I have with this match, it is way too short. It's 9 minutes. 9 minutes. You're kidding me. 9 minutes from Sting versus Great Muta. If this match would have been, you know, 15 minutes, it would have been the greatest match of all time, probably. This I give 4 stars. 8 out of 10. The only thing I wish it would be just 5 minutes longer. It was 5 minutes longer, but damn it. You know, take some time off from the stupid, terrible Skyscrapers with Dynamic Dudes, which got 10 minutes. 10 minutes from an awful piece of shit. Clock that down to 5 minutes. Give this that extra 5 minutes, and this would have been, I'd give it a 10. But it gets an 8 out of 10 just because it's a little too short. Still, however, it's a great freaking match. Glory Days, at his peak was the Stinger. At his peak was Great Muta. Great stuff. We got to the United States Championship match between Lex Luger and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The idea here is that Lex Luger only gives Ricky Steamboat, he gives him this deal. You'll get the U.S. title shot if it's a normal wrestling rules match, which means DQ's on, which means there's countouts, which means, you know, because before there would be no DQ, would be no countout. So, but here Luger says, no, screw you, screw your rules. I'm the champion. You go by my rules. DQ's on, countouts on, and in the end he got disqualified. So, but this is still an amazing match. I give it an 8. I give it actually a 9 out of 10. It's about 11 minutes, I believe. Could have been longer. Should have been longer. This is Lex Luger's best match that's not against Ric Flair. So I would say this is top 5 match for Lex Luger. It's a fucking great match. It's a fucking great match. Ricky Steamboat does not win the U.S. title because Luger got disqualified. But still a damn good match. 9 out of 10. We head to War Games. We got the Road Warriors, Midnight Express, and Dr. Death Steve Williams, and they take on the Fabulous Freebirds and the Samoan SWAT team, which would be the Head Shrinkers anyways. This is War Games, typical War Games. You don't know what a War Games match is, watch a War Games match. This is a damn good War Games. Not one of the greatest, most memorable War Games, but still a bloody-ass brawl, still a great fight, still a war. And I love War Games matches, and this is one of my favorite War Games. 8 out of 10, 4 stars. Great War Games match. Of course, the good guys wins. As always, the good guys wins in War Games. That's what normally would happen. The bad guys would win the coin toss, would get the advantage, and then the good guys, more likely than not, would win. Still a good, damn good War Games match. Weird fucking promo from the Fabulous Freebirds and the Samoan SWAT team, though. Weird fucking promo. We head to the main event, Ric Flair versus Terry Funk for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. This match is incredible. Not on the level of their classic I Quit match from the Clash of the Champions later on. But god damn it, this was another brawl. This was bloody. Ric Flair versus Terry Funk was an amazing. This was great. This was a great match. I highly recommend this match. I give it a 9 out of 10. Great way to end the show. Ric Flair retains and proves that he is the man, and proves that he is the top guy. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and he proved to be the man here at the Great American Bash 1989. 9 out of 10. So overall, you know, you do have to take a lot of things in consideration. The undercard, you know, is really bad. Not that bad. I mean, I've seen worse undercards, but the last 4 matches are some of the greatest matches of all time in the Great American Bash history. I recommend the last 4 matches. Some of the beginning of the show you kind of have to skip. I do recommend watching the Tuxedo match. I do recommend the Varsity versus Steiners and Pillman versus Irvin. I definitely skip the Dudes versus the Skyscrapers. That match is terrible. Botch fest all over. Terrible match. But other than that one match, there's not really a whole lot else to complain from the bad end. But the good stuff heavily outshines the bad. The great shit is great shit. The bad stuff is not very bad. It's not the worst. The bad stuff is just kind of compared to a lot of other shows. Overall, this show gets a 7.3 out of 10. This is a damn good show. And I really do think this is one of the greatest shows of all time. It's really up there. It's really up there. You know, it's up there with WrestleMania 14, with SummerSlam 98, SummerSlam 2002, Survivor Series 96, Survivor Series 2002, with Backlash 2000, and a lot of other great WWE, WWF pay-per-views. This is a really damn good show. Glory days. And everyone who's on this card, Ric Flair, Sting, Luger, all those guys, Steamboat, is in their glory days. So it's a really damn good show. So overall, 7.3 out of 10. Next up is the Great American Bash 1990, where it would be Sting versus Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. One of my personal favorite matches of all time. So I'll catch you on the flip side with that show. With this show, Great American Bash 89, 7.3 out of 10. One of the greatest shows in the history of professional wrestling. The greatest WCW pay-per-view there ever was. This is Daniel Clark saying adios. And check out BTUWrestlingNews.com if you haven't yet. So long and farewell.